Have you been feeling more tired than usual lately? Maybe a little puffiness around your eyes in the morning, your ankles slightly swollen by night, and telling yourself it's just stress, just age, just another long week. What if I told you that your kidneys could already be struggling right now, and you wouldn't feel a single sharp pain to warn you? Here in the United States, millions of people are living with declining kidney function and have no idea it's happening. The most dangerous part isn't the symptoms, it's the silence. Kidneys don't scream when they're in trouble. They slowly lose function in the background, filtering your blood every minute, compensating, adapting, until one day the damage is no longer small, no longer reversible, and no longer easy to manage. And by the time most people hear the words reduced kidney function, they're already facing medications, strict diets, or conversations about dialysis they never imagined would apply to them. I'm Dr. Mark Ellis, and after years of seeing how quietly kidney stress builds in otherwise normal, hardworking Americans, I can tell you this. The problem rarely starts in a hospital. It starts at home, in daily habits, in what we eat, in what we overlook. But here's the part most people don't hear often enough. Your body's not fragile by design. Your kidneys were built with powerful natural defense systems. When you reduce inflammation, lower oxidative stress, and support healthy circulation, you give them room to recover and function more efficiently. And that means the solution doesn't have to begin with something extreme. It can begin with something simple, something sitting in your kitchen right now. In this video, I'm going to show you 5 specific fruits that can help support your kidney's natural cleansing process, reduce internal stress, and help your body flush waste more effectively. And one of them may surprise you because almost no one talks about it. Because once you understand how silent kidney damage really is, you'll never look at just feeling tired the same way again. If there's one thing I want you to remember from today, it's this: your kidneys don't fail overnight. They decline slowly from oxidative stress, unstable blood sugar, rising pressure inside tiny vessels, and repeated inflammation. And that's exactly why small daily protection matters. Gooseberry helps reduce oxidative stress at the cellular level. Black raspberries support the delicate blood vessels that keep filtration steady. Strawberries help stabilize blood sugar before it silently damages your filters. Blueberries slow down oxidative aging. And cranberries protect the final exit pathway, so toxins can leave safely. When you look at it this way, it's not about one superfruit, it's about building a protective system around your kidneys. Here's my advice: start simple. Add one fruit this week. Stay consistent. Drink enough water, check your blood pressure, monitor your blood sugar if you're at risk. Ask your doctor about your GFR before symptoms ever appear. Prevention is always easier than recovery. And if this information gave you clarity today, save this video. You may not need every detail right now, but you or someone you love might need it sooner than you think. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications if you want practical, evidence-based medical guidance focused specifically on protecting your kidney health. I share insights designed to help you act early, not react late. Your kidneys are working for you every minute, filtering your blood, balancing your body, keeping you stable. The question is, will you start protecting them before they're forced to ask for help? It's never too early to begin. And if you're watching this right now, it's not too late. Black raspberries don't just support your kidneys, they protect the most fragile part of the entire filtration system, the microscopic blood vessels that make cleansing possible in the first place. After reducing oxidative stress with the first fruit we discussed, the next layer of protection has to focus on circulation, because your kidneys are not solid blocks of tissue. They are networks, millions of tiny, delicate capillaries working like a high-precision water filtration plant. And if those vessels stiffen, narrow, or inflame, filtration efficiency drops long before lab numbers look alarming. I once spoke with a 59-year-old man from Ohio who told me, "Doc, my blood pressure is only slightly high. It's not a big deal." 2 years later, his GFR had quietly declined. No dramatic symptoms, no sharp pain, just gradual fatigue and swelling that he thought was normal aging. What he didn't realize was this elevated blood pressure doesn't just strain the heart, it batters the kidney's microvessels every single day. That's where black raspberries become powerful. They're rich in anthocyanins, the deep purple antioxidants that give them their color. And that color isn't cosmetic, it signals vascular protection. Research published in cardiovascular and nutrition journals has shown that anthocyanins improve endothelial function, the inner lining of blood vessels responsible for flexibility and healthy blood flow. Better endothelial function means smoother circulation. Smoother circulation means less mechanical stress inside the kidney's filtration units. In fact, several studies have linked anthocyanin-rich berry intake with improved blood pressure regulation and reduced inflammatory markers. And here's why that matters. Hypertension is one of the leading drivers of chronic kidney disease in the United States. When blood pressure remains elevated even modestly, it creates constant friction inside those microscopic filters. Over time, they scar. Once scarring sets in reversal, becomes extremely difficult. Think of your kidneys like a coffee filter. If the water flows evenly, the filter works beautifully. But if pressure spikes and the flow becomes turbulent, the filter begins to break down. Black raspberries help stabilize that flow. About half a cup to 1 cup per day is enough. Fresh when in season. Frozen works just as well. The antioxidant content remains remarkably stable. Add them to oatmeal, blend them into a smoothie, or eat them plain. The key isn't perfection, it's consistency. Now here's something important. Improving circulation doesn't just help filtration speed, it also determines how well nutrients and oxygen reach kidney tissue. Without adequate blood flow, even the best antioxidant defenses struggle. So protecting vessels isn't optional, it's foundational. But pause for a second and ask yourself this. Have you ever been told your blood pressure was borderline and you ignored it because you felt fine? If that's you, I want you to comment below. I read those comments and I want to know how many people are walking around thinking borderline means harmless. Because borderline pressure over years becomes structural damage. And while black raspberries strengthen the vascular side of kidney health, circulation alone isn't the full picture. You can have healthy blood vessels and still slowly damage your kidneys through another silent mechanism, one that millions of Americans struggle with every day without realizing it. But just knowing this isn't enough, because there's another factor even more dangerous. And it starts with blood sugar. Circulation protects the highways that carry blood into your kidneys. But what flows through those highways every single day may be the real threat, and that threat is unstable blood sugar. Strawberries may look simple, almost ordinary, but metabolically they are strategic. Because one of the fastest ways to damage kidney filtration over time is repeated glucose spikes. Not one dramatic event, not one dessert, but years of quiet post-meal surges that strain the glomeruli, the tiny filtering units inside your kidneys. I remember a 57-year-old woman from Arizona who told me I'm not diabetic. I'm just borderline. Her fasting numbers weren't alarming, but her post-meal glucose regularly spiked above 160. She felt fine. No pain. No warning. 5 years later, microalbumin started appearing in her labs, an early sign that her kidney filters were leaking under pressure. Here's what most people don't realize. Diabetes is the leading cause of chronic kidney disease in America. According to CDC data, roughly 1 in 3 adults with diabetes develops kidney complications. And it doesn't begin with failure. It begins with microscopic stress sugar molecules binding to proteins, creating advanced glycation, end products that stiffen and scar delicate filtration membranes. This is where strawberries step in. They're rich in vitamin C, polyphenols, and fiber, a combination that supports glucose stability and reduces systemic inflammation. Fiber slows carbohydrate absorption, smoothing out post-meal blood sugar spikes. Polyphenols help reduce oxidative stress that high glucose levels trigger. And vitamin C supports vascular health at the same time. Multiple large observational studies have linked higher berry intake with lower inflammatory markers and improved metabolic health. In practical terms, that means fewer glucose surges battering your kidneys day after day. Think of your kidneys like a fine mesh screen. If thick, sticky fluid passes through repeatedly, that mesh begins to clog and stretch. Over time, microscopic tears form. Strawberries help thin and stabilize that flow before damage accumulates. 1 cup a day, fresh or frozen. Add them to plain Greek yogurt to pair fiber with protein, blend them into a smoothie, or eat them alone. This isn't about restriction. It's about metabolic rhythm. And let me ask you something directly. How many times have you said, I don't eat that much sugar, without ever checking what your blood sugar actually does after a meal? If you've never monitored it, you might be surprised. Leave a comment below if you've ever been told you're pre-diabetic but didn't think it was urgent. Because prediabetes is not neutral, it's a transition phase. And during that phase, kidney stress quietly accelerates. Stabilizing blood sugar doesn't just protect filtration, it reduces full body inflammation. And that matters because kidney health is never isolated. It's part of a larger system aging in real time. But only controlling glucose isn't the full answer. Even if blood sugar is stable and circulation is strong, there's another process happening inside your kidneys every minute, one that speeds up with age and silently erodes function from within. But just knowing this isn't enough because there's another factor even more dangerous, and it's called oxidative aging. Even if your circulation is strong and your blood sugar looks stable, there's a quieter force working against your kidneys every single day, and that force is oxidative aging. Blueberries may be small, but in the world of anti-inflammatory, anti-aging nutrition, they are one of the most studied fruits on the planet. And when we talk about kidney health in 2024 and beyond, oxidative stress is no longer a buzzword, it's a measurable driver of decline. Every minute your kidneys filter nearly half a cup of blood. That relentless workload generates free radicals, unstable molecules that damage cells if they aren't neutralized. Over years, this process accelerates structural wear inside the glomeruli and tubules. It's not dramatic, it's not painful, it's cumulative. I once reviewed labs for a 64-year-old retired teacher who told me I've always eaten pretty healthy. Her blood pressure was controlled, her glucose was normal, but her estimated GFR had slowly declined over a decade. No crisis, just gradual loss. When we looked deeper, inflammatory markers were slightly elevated, not enough to trigger alarm, but enough to suggest chronic oxidative burden. This is where blueberries stand out. They are exceptionally rich in anthocyanins, the same vascular protective compounds we discussed earlier, but in even higher concentrations. Clinical and observational studies have linked regular blueberry consumption with reduced inflammatory biomarkers, improved endothelial function, and enhanced antioxidant capacity in the bloodstream. In simpler terms, blueberries help neutralize free radicals before they damage delicate kidney tissue. Think of oxidative stress like slow rust forming on metal. You don't notice it day to day, but over years it weakens structure from within. Blueberries act like a protective coating, not stopping time but slowing the corrosion. Half a cup to 1 cup per day is enough. Fresh, frozen, blended, or paired with oats to combine antioxidants with fiber for additional metabolic stability. The key isn't volume, it's frequency. And here's something worth asking yourself. When was the last time you thought about aging inside your body, not on your skin, but in your organs? We often talk about brain health, heart health, joint health, but kidney aging rarely makes headlines until it's advanced. If you're over 55, comment below with your age. I want to know how many people watching understand that kidney decline often begins in the 50s, long before symptoms appear. Because aging isn't just about years, it's about cumulative cellular stress. But even reducing oxidative damage isn't the final piece. You can improve circulation, stabilize glucose, and slow cellular aging, and still put your kidneys at risk through something far more overlooked. But just knowing this isn't enough because there's another factor even more dangerous. And it has nothing to do with filtering blood, it has to do with what happens after. You can improve circulation, you can stabilize blood sugar, you can even slow oxidative aging. But if the exit pathway isn't protected, your kidneys still carry unnecessary risk. Cranberries don't work inside the kidney the same way the other fruits do. They work at the final stage of detox, the urinary tract. And that detail matters more than most people realize. Your kidneys filter waste, but that waste must travel down the ureters into the bladder and out through the urinary tract. If bacteria attach, multiply, and trigger infection, inflammation can move upward. And when inflammation reaches the kidneys, the damage can escalate quickly. I once spoke with a 62-year-old woman who told me she'd had just a few UTIs over the years. Nothing major. She treated them with antibiotics and moved on. But recurring infections increased her risk of kidney inflammation, something most people never connect to long-term kidney stress. Here's what science shows. Cranberries contain proanthocyanidins, compounds that prevent certain bacteria, especially E. coli, from sticking to the lining of the urinary tract. Instead of attaching and multiplying, the bacteria are more likely to be flushed out. Multiple clinical reviews have shown that cranberry products can reduce recurrence of urinary tract infections in certain populations, particularly women over 50. And fewer infections mean less inflammation. Less inflammation means less strain traveling back toward the kidneys. Think of it like this: if your kidneys are a filtration plant, the urinary tract is the drainage system. Even the best filter cannot function properly if the drain is repeatedly clogged or inflamed. About half a cup of fresh cranberries or 4 to 8 ounces of 100% unsweetened cranberry juice daily is enough to support this mechanism. The key word is unsweetened. Added sugar defeats the purpose by increasing metabolic stress. Now let me ask you directly, have you ever experienced recurring UTIs and brushed them off as just one of those things? If that's you, leave a comment below. Many people underestimate how often small infections can create long-term inflammation. Because here's the uncomfortable truth: kidney stress doesn't always start inside the kidney. Sometimes it starts with what we ignore outside of it. And this is where everything connects. Circulation protects delivery. Blood sugar stabilizes pressure. Antioxidants slow aging. Cranberries protect the exit. But there is one final principle, the overlooked decision, that determines whether all of this adds up or quietly unravels over time. And most people don't realize it until a doctor says the word dialysis. If there's one thing I want you to remember from today, it's this: your kidneys are not fragile by default. They are resilient, adaptive organs that respond to how you treat them every single day. You don't need extreme detox plans. You don't need to panic. And you don't need to overhaul your entire life overnight. What you need is consistency. Support circulation, stabilize blood sugar, reduce oxidative stress, protect the urinary pathway. Small repeatable habits like adding 1 or 2 of these fruits into your daily routine can quietly shift the direction of your kidney health over time. And please don't wait for symptoms. Don't wait for a lab result to scare you into action. If you're over 40, ask your doctor about checking your GFR, your creatinine, and your urine albumin. Stay hydrated, reduce excess sodium, move your body regularly, and pay attention to borderline numbers before they become serious. If this video helped you see kidney health differently, save it. You may not need all of this information today, but one day you or someone you love might, and having it saved could make a real difference. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because I share practical, evidence-based medical insights designed to help you protect your health before problems become permanent. My goal is simple: to give you the knowledge most people only wish they had earlier. Your kidneys work for you 24 hours a day. The question is, will you start working for them? It's never too early, and it's not too late.